Hey there, travelers. I'm so excited because today I'm visiting Foster Parrots, a parrot sanctuary. We're going to learn what it takes to care for birds, how they got here, and if we're lucky, we might even hear them. Stay tuned. So travelers, I'm here with Danika, the sanctuary director here at Foster Parrots. First and foremost, thank you for having us here. This place is amazing. You do incredible work.
Thank you.
Can you tell me, when did Foster Parrots start?
So Foster Parrots really started in 1988 by a man named Mark Johnson. It really started, he was a potter in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and he started rescuing parrots sort of in his own time. And then it very quickly snowballed, and he had to move out of his pottery studio. He bought a big barn out in Rockland, Massachusetts, and really started Foster Parrots. And then in 1999, we were incorporated as a welfare and rescue organization. And then in 2007, when we outgrew that space, we moved down here to Rhode Island, and we've been here ever since.
Danika, this place is huge. How many different birds do you have here?
Well, so we have a total of 380 birds that live here, and about 50 different species of birds. When we bring people into the sanctuary, it becomes pretty apparent why parrots are kind of tough to live with. It's incredibly loud. Right now they're actually being kind of quiet, but pretty soon you'll start to hear the occasional scream. It's very natural. So here is one of our first aviaries. This is a conure and a mixed species aviary. Smaller species, they flock together, there's a lot of bonded pairs. I believe we have about 8 parrots in here. They need a lot of space to fly. This is sort of a tough aviary. Conures are kind of, they can be sort of edgy little birds. They've got a lot of personality in a little body. You'll often see conures for sale in a pet store. And unfortunately, it's a very hard animal to own. And when you go to a pet store, it looks really cute and sweet and easy. It's in this fun little box, but when you actually bring it home, it's loud, they bite, they might not like you. So we get a lot of conures here, which is sort of surprising for how small they are. One of the big things we do here in the sanctuary is trying to find parrots a companion. Parrots in the wild, they mate for life. They're wired to have constant companionship, whether that's with a family unit in a big flock, or if that's with an individual bird. In captivity, though, parrots often live alone. And that's really not fair to a parrot. That's like me telling you you have to live alone for your entire life. You never get to have any friends. You never get to have a partner. You never get to have a home. And so what we do here is try and give the parrots back the life that they would have had in the wild, which is companionship, emotional support, psychological support, space to fly, space to roam, space to make their own life.
So we saw that this bird right here was kind of lifting up his feathers on his head. Do we know why he was doing that?
So parrots can control their feathers. So sometimes you'll see a parrot that's really fluffed up, or you'll see a parrot that has their sort of mohawk go up. That's sort of a sign for they're excited, they're engaged. It can also be that they're afraid, they're happy, they're angry. It's a way that they communicate. I can't say for sure what this bird's trying to tell me, but its feathers are a way of communicating with other birds and hopefully with us. Parrots are really engaged animals. They pay attention to their surroundings. They're watching us just as much as we're watching them. And they'll try and get a reaction out of you. Yeah. So they'll try and sneak up on you and scare you just to get that, that jump. Because they have a sense of self and they understand that you're this other thing and they want to interact with you. And they have personalities. So cool. They have a sense of humor. They have likes and dislikes. Wow. Because every parrot reacts differently to each person. So I walk into a room, this parrot might love you, hate me. Why, I don't know. They pick us.
Probably loves my hat and my fashion sense. These birds are so beautiful.
And unfortunately, because they are so pretty, people want to bring them into their home. And it's like, yes, these animals are so beautiful and they're so cool and they're so different and special, but that doesn't mean we should bring them into our home.
Right, you would want them to, experience life the way it's supposed to be. To cage such a beautiful bird, it's such a shame that it can't fly around and spread those beautiful wings.
Exactly. Imagine if you were born with wings and you were never allowed to use them.
Danika is so knowledgeable about parrots. I wonder how one becomes a parrot expert. So when did you get involved with Foster Parrots?
So I've been here a little over a year and a half. I originally worked at a wolf sanctuary out in Colorado, and after working there, I realized I wanted to go into working with animals as a lifetime career. So I went and I got my master's in animals and public policy at Tufts Veterinary School, and upon graduation, I found this place. I saw Parrot Confidential, a documentary on foster parrots. I applied, we hit it off, and I've been here ever since. One of our goals is for every bird here to have an indoor aviary and an outdoor aviary. So they can pick where they want to go, what they want to do, and that again, it's a really important thing for birds to have, which is a sense of self and to be able to make choices. Parrots in captivity and in the home, they don't have any choice. They're stuck in a cage, they're stuck to your schedule. Here, we let them choose. And that's really kind of what Sanctuary is about, is let them be independent and free. This is Bert. Bert is a hyacinth macaw. And his buddy over here is Jub Jub. Jub Jub is a blue-throated macaw.
Jub Jub?
Both of these species are endangered. Jub Jub in the back here is critically endangered. There's about 150 to 200 left in the wild.
Wow.
Hi guys.
Now, you mentioned that there's about 50 different species in here. About how many birds do you have in here, though? How many different birds?
About 380.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot of mouths to feed.
Oh, I bet.
Actually, you'll notice that we have a lot of people walking around behind us. Some of them have carts with food on it. We have about 45 volunteers that help us take care of these animals. That means fresh water, fresh salad, fresh pellets, and fresh nuts every single day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, plus scraping, sweeping, and mopping every single floor, every single day. It's a lot of work, and it's really hard, but the birds need it.
Hello. How you doing?
Alright, so here we have the macaw play frames. This area was originally for birds that were really human bonded, and they didn't really have bird friends. We tried pairing with birds, they never seemed to really get along with other birds. So then what we ended up doing was having little individual play frames for each bird. But recently we decided to connect all of it and see if they would maybe on their own start forming new relationships. It's actually really amazing because we do have birds trying to pair up that for years showed no interest in other birds. And this is really, for us, really exciting because this is what it's all about. It's getting birds to sort of go back to being a bird as much as possible. And again, some of these birds never will. So a lot of these birds that you see here came to us because they were in someone's home at one point, but because they're so loud, they destroy everything in your home, they bite, they might not like their owner, they didn't make very good pets. And so somebody realized that I can't keep this animal in my house, it's destroying my walls, it's destroying my furniture, it bites me, it doesn't like my spouse, whatever it may be, they end up having to try and find a place to put them. There's not a lot of parrot rescues out there. We're one of the few in the country actually that does lifetime sanctuary like this. So we really taken a lot of birds here that nobody really wanted to keep in their home.
This seems like a parrot jungle gym.
That's the whole goal. That's exactly what it is.
This is playtime.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about a parrot's diet? What's on the menu for today?
Okay, well today's menu, which is the sort of menu for every day here, they get fresh water, which everybody needs fresh water, but then they get a salad, which is made up of apples, kale, celery, beets, squash, sweet potato, peas, corn, pasta, really any vegetable. Yeah, they eat better than I do. And then they get a sort of a parrot-specific pellet mixed with nuts, so almonds, walnuts, pistachios, and they get this every day. Parrots need a really varied diet. In the wild, they eat a whole bunch of stuff. They actually eat so many different things, we don't know exactly what some parrots eat in the wild. We can kind of guess from what we see. But these guys are, they'll really eat a lot of stuff. So our job is to kind of give them as many different options as possible. The typical day here for a parrot really starts around 8 a.m. when we come in and the volunteers come in. And that's when we start to, feed and get them water. And then we spend the rest of the day cleaning. So the first half of the morning is just feed all the birds. And then the second half of the day is just all about cleaning. And these guys are pretty messy.
Hey guys, see some of these birds maybe pluck their feathers, having a bad hair day.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about what's going on with them?
So what you're seeing is feather plucking, and this unfortunately is a reaction to either with psychological stress or boredom or loneliness, whatever it may be. A lot of parrots that are in captivity will pluck out their feathers, and unfortunately it's really hard to stop once they start, and sometimes they'll do it for so long that the feathers won't come back. This is something that is unfortunately the sort of the stress response you do see in captivity with parrots. These are wild animals. These are animals that are meant to live free in the jungle or in the wherever it may be, in the forest. And when we bring them into our home and we take them out of the wild, they're not equipped to live a life of captivity. And this is oftentimes what you see. But aside from losing a couple of feathers, these guys are pretty happy. They have a good life here. And we do whatever we can to try and accommodate them emotionally and psychologically as best we can. And hopefully they'll stop. But sometimes that's just kind of going to be, that's the way they're going to look forever. We still love them. So I'm going to take you down to North Park, which was the original part of Foster Parrots when we first moved here. So this is one of the oldest sections of the sanctuary. This is also probably the loudest section of the sanctuary.
It's really quiet in here. Hello.
Hi, Benny.
Hello. So one of the things a lot of people think about when they think of parrots is mimicking. They say hello to you, they say your name. What does that look like? How long does it take for them to learn a different word?
Honestly, they can learn after hearing it once. It's, some birds you have to repeat it a lot, but it depends, You say one thing once and they can totally pick it up.
Their range of voice is very broad. They can mimic words, they can mimic sounds. Have you experienced that here?
Yes, absolutely. We have some birds that do tough typewriter noises or laser beam sounds. Really, the sound of a door closing or the sound of a fire alarm.
That's got to be nice and quiet, I'm sure.
Yeah, and they'll totally make up their own messages.
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. How are you?
Hello.
Hello, I said that already.
That's Tucker.
Hi, Tucker.
When we first put up this aviary, Tucker managed to chew a hole through the wire. Those beaks are incredibly powerful, so it took us a little while to figure out what actually is the strongest material that can keep a cockatoo in. But we realized that after he cut that hole through the wire, he really liked sticking his head out. So when we put up the new wire, we cut him a little window again. Don't worry, he's not stuck.
So it seems like we have another jungle gym over here. Do these birds partner together?
Unfortunately, no. So these birds, we had tried to put into an aviary with these birds, but they're a bit more timid. They're a little bit more laid back. They're really human bonded, and so we just found that being in the aviary with all the other cockatoos was too much for them, and they were really stressed out. So we kind of gave them this other environment so they can have a little bit of their own space and it's a little bit calmer. They are so smart, and they're so emotional, and captivity is so devastating for them. I don't want to say more than other species, but it's really hard.
Wow, Foster Parrots is incredible! The amount of work they put in to give these birds a great life is amazing. From the food they prepare to the jungle gyms they scrub, it is clear just how much attention a bird really needs. I am so thankful for the chance to see what a day in the life looks like here at a parrot sanctuary.
Just from what you told me about the volunteers, I could tell how much it takes to care for birds, which really makes me think it's not a good pet. We really should not be taking them into our home. Can you tell me why they don't make really good pets?
Absolutely. One of the tough things about parrots is that they're wild animals. And in the wild, you have certain skills and abilities that make your chances of surviving a lot better. So for parrots, they can fly. They can't do that in the home. That's really hard for them. They are really loud because they need to be able to communicate to their friends and family miles away. So they've got this loud scream, not really good in your home. They've got a big, powerful beak to crack open nuts and to crawl and chew into tree trunks. not really good in the home, when they're destroying your countertops and your tables. And then the fact that they live so long. They have human life expectancies, over 80 years for some species. So all these things that make them wonderful animals in the wild, make them really hard pets in the home, because we as people, we're not a parrot. I can't give a parrot what a parrot really needs.
Wow, yeah. And what happens when, people don't expect how long they're going to live, people can't expect to care for them, they end up here.
Absolutely. A lot of people, when they bring a parrot into their home, they love the animal and they really care for that animal, but they just don't know the reality. And oftentimes they find out too late. And that's when they get a hold of us. And that's where we step in to try and help the person find the right option to help them with their parrot, or we have to step in for the parrot and take them in and rescue them.
It's clear how much you guys love these birds. Working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. There are ways to love these birds without having them as pets. Danika, what are some of those ways that our viewers can help out at home to help the sanctuary?
There are many ways that you can help out. One of the first things is to volunteer. There are rescues all over the country, working with parrots, working with cats and dogs, working whatever it is. All these organizations, they need everyone's help, and they don't have the money to be able to pay everybody. So volunteers are so, so, so important. So if you have a parrot rescue near your house, go volunteer, help them out. Donate vegetables and fruits. Donate money. I mean, these are places that, they're really struggling to survive, and all they want to do is help these birds. And you as a volunteer or a donor, it makes all the difference in the world.
I really appreciate you giving us the opportunity to come see what you do and celebrate the work you do.
Awesome. Well, it's been awesome having you guys here. I always love to show off this place because it's an amazing place, and these are amazing animals.
Oh, hello there.